105 North Avenue, 52.
Prepare to be fucked by the long dick of the law.
This isn't happening. Everyone look away, please. Nothing to see here.
You can't break those cuffs.
Take him away, Ty.
Welcome to Thought Cops, the only podcast where every week we police the mean streets of the internet because, hey, somebody's got to do it. And then we let you be the judge, the jury, and the executioner in the court of public opinion. Coming to you live from Neo Chicago, I am Officer Kevin.
And I'm Officer the Grinch for at least 2 more weeks. I'm holding on to this bit. I'm going to steal Ted Cruz's holiday ham. And that's it. That's all that I got.
Always on brand with the festivity, Grant. I always love that about you. Let's give a thank you to our guest from last week, Slimed Garbage Main. And let's give a warm welcome to a returning guest to the show. That's right, folks. Jack Allison is back, Allison. How the hell are you, Jack?
What's happening? What's going on, guys? It's good to be back. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is ours. Isn't that right, Grant?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was agreeing, yeah.
All right, well, we're on the same page here.
And by the way, I'm a big time believer in that this year is the year of Grinchmas, and this is a big year for the Grinch, and so I'm a big appreciator of the Grinch bit, and that your name is the Grinch.
I appreciate your appreciation. It's this is the year to cancel Christmas. We've been trying for a long time.
I swear to God, I've been saying it since like July that this is going to be a big Grinch year because Christmas is canceled.
It's
and
huge.
It's the biggest Grinch year of all time.
I've been waiting.
I feel like dozens of people are getting Grinchified every single day.
This is the biggest Grinch pilling I've ever seen. And I have a big feeling about this. I actually have a very deep feeling about the Grinch. I actually, this year, because this is the year of the Grinch, I've watched every single Grinch. I have. I watched every single Grinch.
What's your favorite?
Well, the Chuck Jones original, to be honest with you.
Yes,
and I have a lot of, well, that's not even the original, to be honest. You know, I choose the Chuck Jones animated special over the original Dr. Seuss Grinch book for a couple reasons. Chuck Jones actually did bring new stuff to the Grinch that is, you know, Grinch was not green in the book. Do you know that?
No, I did not.
Do you know that in the book, the Grinch was not green?
I saw you tweet about it, but that's really the only reference that I have to go off of.
I had the book when I was a kid, and I could have sworn he was green on the cover, but maybe they retrofitted that.
It might have been recolored, but that was a Chuck Jones pitch to make the Grinch green.
Great call.
So, you know, a lot of what we associate with the Grinch, the big funny faces, the greenness, that's all Chuck Jones. Now, of course, you know, then you have to go book as the second one. Then you have to go the Ron Howard live action Grinch, which is a very faithful Grinch that does care a lot about the Chuck Jones original Grinch, and Ron Howard really tries to do a good job adapting the Grinch, and you know Jim Carrey does a pretty funny role, but there's some structure problems. Then you have to go the just recently, last night, I think actually 2 nights ago aired NBC live musical Grinch, which is pretty terrible.
Oh, speaking of getting Grinchified, didn't the main Grinch actor say he was inspired by Joaquin Phoenix's The Joker?
That's correct. That's correct. He did. You know, Matthew Morrison said he was inspired by the Joker for his Grinch portrayal. I don't know if I saw that much in the performance. I watched the full 2-hour thing. And then just finally to close out my ranking of all the Grinches, there's finally the Illumination Grinch from the people that make the Minions movies. Just an awful Grinch. Not in the spirit of the Grinch at all. The Grinch has straight and normal teeth that are perfectly normal and white, when typically, as we know from the song, the Grinch is supposed to have termites in his teeth and they're supposed to be all fucked up.
Right. Didn't Tyler, the creator, like do the song for that? Like
Right,
the theme
and,
song
and this is something that's even really hilarious about it. If you're really going to get me into my deep Grinch bullshit,
Please,
that Tyler,
go
the
off,
creator,
Ken.
in his rap song for the Illumination Grinch, says that the Grinch has yellow teeth, but in the movie, the Grinch only has white and perfect teeth.
You got to be
So the
fucking
Grinch-
kidding me.
I am not. I'm not. This is how sloppy that Illumination Grinch was. The
I can't
worst
say I'm
Grinch by
surprised.
far.
You know, my only interaction with that movie, I never saw it, but I remember the fucking advertisements for it because
Yeah, it was like the Grinch, and the Grinch is actually not even as nasty as the ads make it out. Like,
And
the
they were
Grinch is
all
like,
like-
I'm gonna like shit in your soup or something. Like,
do you remember they were all like region specific? Like there was
Yes.
ones here in Chicago where it was like City of Windy City, I'll blow you away or something like
yeah.
that. And
That's fucking
I remember going to LA that year, and then it was like the ads were different there, and I'm like, I am not going to see
Yeah.
this movie. It's
Well,
just
listen.
rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
if I can just briefly talk just for one final moment about the Grinch. I know you have a lot to talk about on this podcast, but I'm a believer in Grinchmas. And if you watch the original Chuck Jones Grinch, the Grinch has red pupils throughout the entire special until he learns the meaning of Christmas, and then he has blue pupils. And so I think that the meaning of Grinchmas is to be the blue-eyed Grinch, to be the Grinch that thinks Christmas sucks but doesn't want to ruin everyone else's time and still shows up and cuts the roast beast. And that's really what Grinchmas is all about. That's me. I am the blue-eyed Grinch. I never will like it. I never will care about it, but you don't have to go steal everybody else's Christmas. And that's really what the spirit of Grinchmas is all about. Not this corporate Grinch bullshit. The corporate Grinch, even the fucking Illumination Grinch, the NBC one, that's all corporate Grinch. Then you get back to the spirit of the original Grinch, the Seuss work and the Chuck Jones work, which is about the blue-eyed Grinch and, you know, having your own feelings about Christmas.
We're taking the Grinch back from the man.
That's what I think. I think it's time. You know, it is time. And this is, you know, thank you for allowing me just a few extra moments to opine
please,
about the
yeah.
Grinch here at the top of the show.
I mean, Grinch content is tantamount here.
I mean, yeah.
I have been spending a lot of time with the Grinch this year.
It sounds like it.
I get the fucking Grinch songs just in my head sometimes. I think about the Grinch. I really, you know, I was early on Grinch pilling, and so I'm so far deeper. I'm so far deeper than everyone else is. No one will get as far deep as I have because they'll only be in it for the month. I've been here since July, and it's just, you know.
I will never argue with you on that point. You win.
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
no counterpoints.
Oh, I'm a Grinch scholar. I'm a big time Grinch scholar.
But Jack, keep speaking in terms of staying busy this year. What have you been up to? I know we had your co-host Leslie on a couple of months back from Struggle Session. I know you've been working on that. I've been doing Jack AM on Twitch,
That's right.
having a little fun on Twitter, causing some mischief here and there.
That's right. Always causing a lot of trouble on the internet.
I got to ask, do you think that was a side effect from the Grinch pilling, at least in some part?
I am a Joker-fied and Grinch-pilled man, you know, to my very core, and I've been there for a very long time. And so, yes, maybe some of the acrimony I allow myself to get into is because of that, I guess. It's maybe in the spirit of the Grinch.
Sure.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I feel like every time I turn my head, I see you're at the center of some whirlwind of just some chaotic happening, whether it's the horse whisperer thing or the movie Bob thing, or like now the Destiny thing and like the former co-host thing, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing. Just from like an outside perspective, just to watch all of this stuff unfold and watch it unfold in the way that it's unfolded has been
Yeah, and
amazing.
I'm always like, I see like some replies. I'm like, I got to go to Jack's profile and see what happened.
Yeah, spend hours reading about it.
You know, sometimes I think I get too deep into this bullshit. You know what I mean? And I do, and I will admit that I get obsessed and that I, you know, have a tendency to fixate is what I guess I would say. I have a tendency to fixate. And I even can understand people who like will be on my Twitter feed and be like, you're annoying. I'm like, I could not agree with you more. You know what I mean? Like I live with this. I know I'm annoying, you know?
Right. I think that's the catharticness though of watching it all unfold is your acceptance of like, I watched that entire Destiny stream 1 or 2 days ago or whatever when you called in, and he would just say something and you'd be like, yeah, I know, I don't care, moving on. And it's the same thing with you like screen capping some of the content, and people are like, oh, you're big mad, and you're like, yep, here's another funny clip of him taking the LSAT.
Well, here's my other thing is that like, you know, this whole thing with Destiny's a streamer who is, I guess, purportedly liberal, but actually holds a lot of sort of reactionary and I would say conservative beliefs.
I see that a lot on Twitter. I mean, like, obviously, but I've seen it like a lot in the last year, especially where people are like, I'm a leftist, I'm a liberal. And it's like, then they'll post like this weird reactionary shit where it's like, yeah, what's happening here?
I truly think that a lot of it is that people don't like read actual like books and stuff, and that's not me trying to be an elitist or a dick or anything like that, but I truly do think that like you got to at least listen to people who have read books. You know what I mean?
Right,
because that's the issue with this guy Destiny is that he's got people listening to him and he doesn't read anything. He's basically just ignorant, but can like talk well. You know what I mean? And he's kind of cobbling together a worldview from Wikipedia articles and like winging it. You know what I mean? Like winging it as he goes along and sort of divining an ideology, you know, out of stubbornness and, you know, out of just like streaming every day. And, you know, I'm like, I think maybe the better way to do it is to like read theory, you know, maybe read a little, maybe even not that much theory. You know what I mean? Like this thing with this guy Destiny, he like talks about like Kyle Rittenhouse and gunning people down and everything like that. And he's a big proponent for public property. He's like, Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong or whatever. And I just, to that, am like, I believe that you should read like the new Jim Crow. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to be like a YouTuber debating some other streamer guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, go read a little bit of the scholarship about like what's going on, you know, with like the sort of police reform and police abolition movement, the prison abolition movement in the United States. And like, come back to me when you've read like scholarship by smart people. You know what I mean? Like, I am not trying to pretend like I've come up with all of this on my own. I've only read, I'm actually a dumbass. You know what I mean? Like I've just listened to audiobooks of things like of like smart people. You know what I'm saying? And like, I am like, oh, those people are like correct because they thought about this a lot and it's all, you know, it's all, you know, like it's all consistent to me, you know?
I mean, it's all kind of adjacent to like, I guess what you would call the skeptic community or whatever.
Right. Yes,
it's like an outgrowth of it, I feel like.
Yeah, the kind of YouTube debate world does come from this, you know, sort of atheist skeptic culture, which, you know, my real thing about all of it is that like this is just like fucking WWE like cartoon bullshit for children. You know what I mean? Like I stream on Twitch too, and while I do actually think that my audience skews older than Destiny's, I would not say that I'm doing anything other than like an entertainment show every day. You know what I mean? Like it's just clowny bullshit that like people pay me some money to do, same as podcasts or anything. Like this is not political action. What we're doing is entertainment for people. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's how we see the show too. It's like we talk about quote unquote current events.
Yeah, I brought that up like a while ago on this show that like I struggle with that because there is a large part of politics that I do find like yeah, you want to see material change happen in the world and you want to do the best thing that you can do, but also it's like I'm a fucking, like you said, I'm a fucking moron too.
Listen, the way I see it is like, you know, you can use your platform to affect some things that are good. You know what I mean? Like it's great that like so many people volunteered for Bernie this year and so much money was moved to Bernie and everything like that. And I do think that like things like people having podcasts can help like direct attention at small races and stuff like that. But ultimately what we're all doing is like talk radio. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
activism is a separate thing. Like you can be an activist and also be a podcaster, but doing a podcast is not activism. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you can be out there doing protests and all this kind of resistance and stuff like that, and also be doing a podcast, but the two are not one and the same.
Yeah. No, I 1,000% agree with that. And yeah, the whole, I do feel like the whole debate thing, and I've engaged in watching way more of those than I'd like to admit, but like, it does feel to me like sort of what you said, that a lot of it is not even like meaningful engagement with certain topics and discussions. It's just like, how can I score points? How can I make this person look dumb? And
It's content.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
It's like, it's for sport. It's, you know, it's WWE. Like, what?
I mean,
and
they literally have
you can-
blood sports.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
It, you know, it is like you can watch, and you watch like, you know, the chatters on this guy's stream and everything like that, and it's all just like, oh, he's mad and stuff like that. It's like, this is WWE just with talking. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's like, you know, people would just, it's like the same as watching like a rap battle or something like that, except with like less like innate talent needed to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like people like to watch people kind of be mean to each other. People like to watch like
Yeah.
roasts and stuff like that. And by the way, you know, this guy Destiny describes himself as a professional debater. Okay, I see that on his YouTube channel and everything like that. And I ask you, does a professional debater exist? Is that a job that exists? Because I think that there are like politicians who debate to get a job, and I think that
Right.
there are high schoolers who debate because they're on a debate club. I don't think a professional debater exists outside of like those categories. Prove me wrong.
I would try and prove you wrong, but I keep imagining Destiny doing in the middle of a rap battle, and I can't think of literally anything else right now. That's
Epic
all.
rap battles of history.
I think we know one word he would say in his rap, and it starts with an
Oh
M.
no! Oh no!
Ah, man. Speaking of epic, though, let's get right to it. 2 minutes of hate. This is the very famous, very favorite segment of the show where we like to blanket punish all that annoying random crap that we see on the internet every single day because, as we know, we are addicted to our phones and our computers and our smartwatches, I guess.
Right.
So my 2 minutes of hate this week is these posts. It's just another fucking Twitter trend. These age yourself posts, where people post an example and it's like, let me just read you the one that I have here. Age yourself by telling me what the first video game that you remember playing. I'll go first. Combat on the Atari VCS. And there's another one. It's like, age yourself by posting a store that was around when you were a kid, and it's like somebody posts a picture of Funkoland or something
Right,
like
so
that.
it's just another example of people bragging about like obscure thing that you couldn't possibly remember.
Yeah.
It's also like if you boiled it down to the original one, to like the basis of what all these are, it's just like post what year you were born. Like, that's pretty much all it is, and everyone's like 1986. You know, whoa, me too.
I mean, it's just, like, that's really all it boils down to. It's just like,
Right.
you got to just tear it apart to its like raw essences. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're just
I know.
saying what year we were born, and other people
Right.
are like, I was born that year also. I kind of remember. I have a similar lived experience to you because we were born at the same time.
And then those who don't know, it's like, oh yeah, don't know what that is. You must be a little bit older than my age.
I know.
bracket.
Wow, damn, you're either older or younger than me. Like, you know, that's like literally, it's like, you know, what year were you born? Someone's like 1986. Someone's like me too, and someone's like I was born in like 1976. So that's like younger for me.
It's sort of like people have their like with zodiac signs. Like most people, I think, are like, yeah, zodiac signs. That's kind of stupid. Oh, you were also born in 1991. Cool. Do you remember? Like fucking playing N64?
Here's what I think is that maybe all of this is just standing in for that we're not able to go to parties anymore.
I think
because I feel like that's the only
yeah.
conversation I ever had at parties was like people kind of being like, "Do you remember like watching the Rugrats?" And I was like, "Yes, I certainly do."
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I do.
I was going to say, this has been a trend on Twitter, like this kind of thing for a while. But again, all this annoying stuff we talk about is become so exasperated this year because of quarantine. Like you said, we don't have these social interactions. And it's like, just like posting a picture of Funkoland is a cry for help. Like, I need a friend.
Exacerbated.
I need somebody to talk to.
Exacerbated, but you sound exasperated.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think exacerbating can cause exasperation.
When I grow up, I want to be a professional
Hey, just put that in your bio. Nobody can really tell you it's
right,
inaccurate.
Right. So what's your punishment?
My punishment is your ID is just, instead of your birth year, it's a picture of
SpongeBob,
the Snorks or something. It's like, yeah, remember the Transformers from the 80s or whatever the hell? It's just a reference, because your whole life is not about having a personality or an identity anymore. It's just about references to things that you remember when things were better, and I can't argue with that. So we're just going to get rid of your birthday and give you one of those.
Fair enough.
But Jack, what do you got for us this week? 2 minutes of hate.
My 2 minutes of hate, and here I am thinking about it. Yours was pretty good.
Thank you.
I guess as I'm getting into my 2 minutes of hate, I guess I just can't help but still go for the political and the Biden freaks. I still can't handle the Biden freaks, who even now in the sort of post, Biden's conversation with civil rights leaders getting leaked kind of thing. I don't know if you saw earlier today, but April D. Ryan, the White House correspondent, and she's a CNN analyst as well, was posting all this stuff about how it's wrong that Biden's audio got leaked and stuff like that, and she actually fell for a post by Edward Ongweso Jr., who was doing a joke post saying it's an irresponsible and dangerous precedent for journalists covering the incoming administration to use secretly recorded conversations in their stories. And she posted like agreed and retweeted it and shit. So I am still kind of, and you'll still get Biden people, in your replies, and you see Biden people in the replies, even to, the Intercept story with all the audio clips being like, "Oh, Joe Biden just made me fall in love with him more."
My God.
So I know this doesn't quite really fit the like pattern of just some meme that everyone's doing.
It's all good.
The Biden freaks still fuck me up week by week.
There's so many more of them than I thought. I could have thought possible, because I feel like
it's Time Person of the Year.
I feel the same way about how many Biden freaks there are, actually, and how Matt Iglesias actually is like the number 6 Substack. I was like, I actually had no idea that this man had fans or something, and I guess I'm just wrong about like liberalism. I'm like, I guess there are just a bunch of fans of like shitty liberalism.
Yeah, I do feel like this year in particular, it was very apparent that so many large social movements don't like. I don't know if I can completely explain this in the way that I'm thinking of it, but that large social movements don't necessarily form the foundations of like large scale political ideologies. That it's like, yeah, you have like the base of like Bernie supporters or Trump supporters or whatever. But when it comes to like large swaths of the country, it's just like, yeah, I'll vote for this person because I like Joe Biden. And it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, the amount of fucking people that told me when I'm like, yeah, I like Bernie, I'm going to vote for Bernie. And they're like, I don't want another old white man in office. And then the same people turn around and they're like, you better vote for Joe Biden. It's like, what happened to the old white man thing?
I swear to God, though, that with the hardcore Biden freaks, there's like a nihilism streak. There's like a fuck you, he's your president. I like that he's bad. Go fuck yourself. He won because he beat Bernie. Like there is like a nihilism streak
Right.
in the kind of like, and like a kind of Trumpiness in like the rubbing your nose. We don't even care how shitty he is of it all.
Yeah,
Right.
I could see that.
Well, have you seen like the blue hats?
Yes,
no.
I've seen the
Oh
blue
my
hats.
God.
I've seen
Wait,
We
what,
Made
what
America
are the blue
Great.
hats?
They took the red Trump hat and they just changed the words. It's just yeah. It's just
I
like,
think,
is this what we're fucking
Biden wore
doing?
the hat. I think Biden wore the hat and he was like, "We just did." The hat was "We just did," which is like "Make America Great Again." We just did.
Right.
Was he
I
looking at
mean,
an ice cream cone when he did it too?
We
Sunglasses?
are in for a pathetic couple of years. That's truly how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just like, I literally have a different hat on than you. Like it's exhausting. I don't know. Whatever. Just fuck everything.
Yeah. So
It
Jack,
is.
if you could punish these Biden freaks,
I would actually not punish them because they to anything more than witnessing what's going to happen with Joe Biden as president. And in fact, you know what? Actually, how about this? I would sentence them to caring about what happens when Joe Biden is president, because they're not going to care at all as it stands. But if I could bestow upon them giving a shit about anything that happens when Biden's president and not checking out and actually having to like sort of, look directly at the abject horror that they support, that's what I would give them as punishment, because right now I think they're just going to have blinders on and stop paying attention.
But you're going to ruin Mark Hamill's brunch.
Oh, well, if it's Mark, to be honest with you, Mark deserves as good a time as he can have. Mark
That's fair.
has done a lot of great work, and I'm happy if Mark Hamill wants to go to brunch. I would not bestow this on Luke Skywalker, but perhaps other people.
That's fair.
maybe some of the folks from the new movies.
Yeah,
I would definitely bestow it on any of them except for John Boyega.
I agree. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. My 2 minutes of hate this week. Is a story. So I was at the gym. I was bench pressing about 12,000 pounds. Dumbbells. 12,000 pound weight in one hand, one in the other hand.
Were they like kind of big and cartoony with the big 12 ton on them?
Yeah, just a more weight
Damn.
than anybody could ever possibly imagine. And I dropped this weight directly onto my phone screen. Like directly, like it bounced a little and it bounced onto the phone screen.
I'm like
And-
cringing as I'm hearing that.
And like, so the phone still worked because I was listening to music and it was still playing, but the screen just went black and I'm like,
Brutal.
Great. I gotta fucking run and get this fixed because like I can't live without a phone, and I start itching and I start sweating and I start clamming up and I jump on my bike and I go straight to the fucking phone store and get it fixed.
Hey, man, I need a fix, man.
I start, just like that. I bring it in there like 2 to 3 hours and I'm like, okay, so I come back 3 hours later. For 3 hours, I do nothing but stare at a wall. I did absolutely nothing. I'm just like, I need my phone back. Give me my phone back. I go back and they're like, oh, we fixed the screen. The screen works. Your phone works fine. We don't have the adhesive to put it back in. So you'll have to come back tomorrow. So for 24 hours, I was without a phone. And Kevin, you're joking about like, oh, I need my fix. I need my fix. I was having like phone withdrawals. I mean, like this shit of having this phone and having this constant like dopamine hit and like looking at Twitter and seeing just like the disgusting like abomination of the landscape of the internet at all times, and it's constantly pouring through my brain like a fucking poison. I'm poisoning myself with this device, and you take it away from me, and I'm like, I can't live without it. I fucking need this phone. I need it, and I hate it so much. Like that's the number one thing anybody wants when you go on vacation is you turn your phone off and you don't have to fucking think about any of this
You
shit.
need to make your TikToks.
But all of a sudden I have one of my TikTok videos is blowing up and I can't do anything about it.
Can't even check the numbers.
I don't know what the
Cannot
numbers
even check
are.
the statistics.
Exactly. And I'm just sitting there like sweating and itching and I can't sleep at night.
What's my reach?
because literally, like, it was like having withdrawal symptoms. It was awful. I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah, I know you were telling me earlier, like you couldn't. Yeah, like you were afraid, like you had to work in the morning, and you had to have an alarm set, which was your alarm.
We're so dependent on these fucking devices, and you take it away from me, and it's like I don't know what to do.
Grant, you got to check out the show on Netflix called Black Mirror.
It explores a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
That sounds
exactly.
interesting.
A lot of similar themes here.
Yeah,
It explores a lot of these ideas. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer or a punishment to this, but it sucks. I feel like have either of you seen the movie A Scanner Darkly?
That's the like cell shaded kind of looking.
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
I never
Keanu
saw
Reeves.
it, but yeah.
It's a very good movie. Very good book. I feel like somewhat underrated. I feel like people don't talk about it very much, but the whole point is, this cop, is investigating this certain specific drug, and then he becomes addicted to the drug, and then they find out that he's using it, and then his punishment is that he has to like harvest the crop that the drug grows, and it turns out to be this big government conspiracy. I guess that's my punishment, is that's me at the end of the movie.
And I see you got your phone back.
Yeah. So time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
Scary stuff, man.
Yeah.
Hate to be in your shoes. One day I could wind up missing out on who knows when somebody could have been born,
Yeah.
Hey, you remember Funko Land? I'll never know.
And it sucks because, we spend all this time ranting and raving about these awful things in our lives, and you take it away and it's like, I need it. I need it so bad. What am I going to do without it?
That's a great segue into the main segment of the show. So if you haven't listened to Thought Cops before, every week we investigate the internet's outrage-inducing news stories and then sentence each perpetrator to a cruel and quite often unusual punishment. So let's start off with, did you guys see the Disney rollout this week? All the new content coming to all the Disney platforms and maybe theaters if they're going to be open?
I did not.
I did see the big Disney dump. I call this year's big giant Disney dump. They announced 10 Star Wars series. They announced every FX series in the longest Twitter thread I've ever seen that really gives you an idea of what monopoly looks like in the United States. If you go through
the thread, it's incredibly bleak.
Yeah.
Very bleak.
So what was it? Yeah, 10 Star Wars series, a Star Wars movie or two, 10 Marvel series on top of a bunch of other movies. There are a bunch of those live action Disney remakes, which I haven't heard a single person say they liked one of those.
The Disney remakes of the animated movies? Yeah, no. Yeah. I don't think anybody does. I think that they're just there to provide more content for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And there's like a Lion King prequel to like the live action movie that nobody seemed to enjoy.
Nobody liked the fucking Jon Favreau live action, not really live action Lion King.
It reminds me of what all of this reminds me of is those like straight to video Lion Kings where they're just like, yeah, we made Lion King 10. And it's like, I didn't even know that the story kept going, but they just keep making them. This is probably, they're going to keep doing this.
And they announced a bunch of new Pixar movies because Pixar is under the branch. I want to read a quote here. There's a really funny quote from Chris Evans. So there's a movie called Lightyear coming out. It's a spin-off from the Toy Story franchise. It's about Buzz Lightyear. And maybe you're thinking, I can't wait to see my favorite comedian and movie personality, Tim Allen,
right,
get back in the role. But it's Chris Evans, and people were kind of confused, like, oh, what is it? Tim Allen's canceled or something? Chris Evans clarified on Twitter and said, and just to be clear, this isn't Buzz Lightyear the toy. This is the origin story of the human Buzz Lightyear that the toy is based on.
I want to kill myself.
Which at this point, I'm like, that fucks up the storyline of Toy Story. You're saying that this is the man that Buzz Lightyear was based on, so that means there was a man who looked exactly like Buzz Lightyear in like Andy's world where Andy lived, who really went to space before this boy had a toy in his life? Is that what you're telling me? Because that's not true.
It's just the fact that they had to like roll out this information and have the stars of the movie clarify on Twitter in the most convoluted way possible, like a tweet thread, be like, just to be clear, this is not the toy, it's the man the toy is based on.
Wow. I had no idea. Does this mean that Emperor Zurg was also real? Is Emperor Zurg out there the whole time during the Toy Story movies?
And actually,
That's terrifying
Zwick
to
in the
think
chat
about.
brings up a very good point, because there was a Buzz Lightyear cartoon from back in the day.
Right, I remember.
Well, no,
Where it was like-
but this is not what the Buzz Lightyear is. This is the Buzz Lightyear that is based. That's the cartoon that the toy that was based on the toy. There
Right.
was a man who the toy was based on, and that's the cartoon of the toy. But this is going to be the tale of the man.
This sucks.
Oh my god.
There's an aspect though to like, because Toy Story, you know, to level with you, in Toy Story, there's that very human moment that Buzz goes through where he's like, "Oh, I'm just a factory made toy." Like he grapples with his own very like existence and consciousness. You know, and it's like that you feel for him in those moments where he like, you know, reflects upon his own humanity or lack thereof. But now it's like, oh, but he actually did exist, but he's just like a
Well, it's
carbon
the
copy.
toy.
Here's what I think.
Not the man.
I think that the continuity of the real life man Buzz Lightyear movie will now inform the future continuity of the Toy Story movies. Because if you watch Toy Story 4, was the most recent one Toy Story 4?
Yeah.
I think it was, right?
Yeah.
In Toy Story 4, they had nothing to do with Buzz. Buzz is like a boring character by the time of Toy Story 4. They have nothing, they like don't know what to do with him. He like loses his memory again or something. So I think that after they do this real life Buzz, then suddenly in the Toy Story movies, you're going to see Buzz Lightyear being like, I have to act like how the real Buzz did, you know?
I'm hoping that they don't, because I haven't seen Toy Story 4.
Well,
I've
they will,
seen
because you have to have seen, like, well, if you want to see Toy Story 5, you got to see Lightyear as well.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
that they don't go that direction. I hope that they don't. Please, come on. I mean, I like the 3 Toy Story movies that I've seen. I think that they're good. I hope that they don't do this. I don't know. I guess I don't care all that much.
Netrunner in the chat says, this is the Star Wars to the Luke Skywalker toy.
That's not what Chris Evans said. Chris Evans said the real man.
So you got to follow these guys on Twitter if you want to know the plot of the movie.
You
I
got to
love
follow
homework.
Chris Evans online. He said it was the man that the toy was based on.
God.
I mean, so anyway, just to punish Disney here. I mean,
Well, Disney literally like did the meme of, you know, like capitalism breeds innovation, and it's just
Right.
like 20 of the same thing, and you pull up this image of
Alien,
all
the
of this
TV
stuff.
show.
oh, that's right. Isn't it? I think, I don't know. Like, I heard it's by the guy who did the Fargo TV
Guess
show.
what? I will drop a hot one, and I know that Legion is supposed to be good, but I don't like Fargo. Sorry, your chat's gonna hate me, but I love it. Give me the booze. Boo! Yeah,
You
I
live
like
for
to
it.
hear it.
It's okay. There's only 4 people in
Yeah.
the chat right now. One of them's a robot.
To be clear, the robot based on the man.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Craig.
Was that your punishment, though? Just
I can't remember what I said.
Disney being innovative by releasing a slate of movies and television.
Yeah, just
you got to get the.
plop the slop on my plate.
I mean-
and serve it up.
Just the idea that there is one Star Wars series on Disney Plus right now, and there are 9 more coming in the next, quote, few years.
2 years. 2 years, they
Oh
said.
my, that is, I mean, it's far past the point of no return for this, but they have completely diluted the brand.
Well, and you know, like, this is the first year that Disney's not turned a profit, like, in forever. Disney's always
Yeah,
turned
and
a
so
profit.
then they fired all of their employees and announced a bunch of web series. They fired like all of their park employees. All of them are fired. And then they announced like 10 Star Wars web series. But guess what? I am a sick fuck, and I still want to watch the Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen Obi-Wan show. that's just how it's going to be for me.
I mean,
fucking,
the worst
I know.
part is, I mean,
It
like
just works for me.
Mandalorian's kind of good. I mean,
I'm ready to watch Mandalorian. It's taken me a lot of time. It's taken me a lot of time to get to that place, but I'm finally ready to watch Mandalorian. I like Dave Filoni, and I'm ready to accept that some Disney Star Wars might be good.
I think that it's better than most of the other stuff that's come out from this iteration of whatever generation of Star Wars that we're on.
Well, listen, I like Dave Filoni, and I actually think, it's interesting. It's like 5 years ago when Disney bought Star Wars from George Lucas. What Star Wars was like they were doing a TV show run by Dave Filoni about like prequels era Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are 5 years later. Disney tried and failed at making their own trilogy. And what have we come back to is like Dave Filoni shows that are about like kind of the prequels,
Right.
like we're back to like a Hayden Christensen prequels show, and Dave Filoni is running a show about bounty hunters, which is, picking up some of the plot points from Clone Wars and shit like that.
Right.
Anyway, I love Dave Filoni, and I think that and like what George was doing with Star Wars was the right thing, and I'm glad that Disney, after like all their hubris and failing to make a trilogy, came back to that in the end.
Yeah, it's nice to see the. I was going to make a joke about the white slavers, whatever George Lucas said, but
hey, George said it wrong, but what he was thinking was right.
Right, exactly.
we're talking about the entertainment industry. Let's keep it in the ballpark here. Jack, you're still out in LA, right?
That's right. I'm still here, staying inside all the time in Los Angeles.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but LA, or not even LA, but California is losing a resident this month. Again, this is kind of huge news.
We hate that. We hate when we lose a resident here.
So Rob Schneider announced on Twitter this week, he did one of these screenshot and notes app kind of things.
Awesome.
He says, California, land of my birth and where all my children were born. I've spent all of my life in your beauty, surfing your waves on warm summer days, rode motorcycles on your gorgeous coastline, lived, laughed, and loved in your beautiful cities, enjoying your wines of perspection. So it is with much sadness that we have to part, but it is my time to leave. Hashtag California, you broke my heart.
Oh no! What is his heart broken by? Is it by like that we are still doing masks? Is it because like we don't even have that restrictive of shit here? You know what I mean? Like I'm living in LA, and I'm like, we should be locked down more. We just locked down the bars. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that was the last straw. Apparently, I don't know.
I'm looking at the the responses, and one of the first to come up is a listener of the show, Shrug or Not, who says, "Come to Indiana. It sucks here too."
So, do you know where he's going? I think I might have heard Texas or something.
I mean, that's where Rogan went, and that's where a lot of the sort of California people like to go. I know a lot of the Trumpy adjacent people are moving to Florida these days.
That makes sense. Lockdown Florida. I think Ben Shapiro is moving to like Tennessee or something. He's got that big cowboy hat.
Well, where does he live now?
He lives
I
like
think
in
California.
The valley. He lives like here.
All right.
Yeah.
So sad news for people who are a fan of comedy.
Yeah.
One of the greats.
I mean, I guess we won't see him pop in at any live shows here while we are not having any live shows for the foreseeable future.
I think I heard recently Rob Schneider was on tour or something as of like this month. I could be wrong, but
there was like him and a bunch of other people that have been in Adam Sandler movies not too long ago did like a Friends of Adam Sandler movies for Trump rally.
What?
Which was
oh man,
do you all remember
that?
That?
Fits. I don't know this. I never heard of it, but that fits for sure.
It was like a month or two ago, and they did a rally of like all the people that were in Adam Sandler movies minus Adam Sandler were doing a rally for Trump, and they were selling like tickets for it and shit.
Well, Adam's just like slightly too smart for that. You know, he really is slightly too smart to show up for something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? That's just like, is there a Grown Ups 3 yet? Because if there isn't, that should be the plot.
Yeah, I don't know
if there's a Grown Ups 3 just yet, but I would be surprised if they don't make one.
I love these fucking celebrities that just think that like one person out of 330 million people that live in this fucking country, and they're like, look at me, look at how I'm showboating around. I'm moving out of California. Take that, California. And it's like, yeah, there's 330 million of us other human beings that like don't care what you do at all ever, you know?
Right.
I mean, yeah, a lot of the replies are just kind of echoing his sentiment, but there are people who don't seem to live in California either. They're just like, I heard that Hollywood is, the devil lives there.
Right. It's a liberal hellscape. I wouldn't know. I've never left fucking Minnesota or whatever, but I've heard.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Hey, look, it's as hellish as anywhere in America is, which is to say, pretty bad.
Yeah.
True.
What do you want me to say?
It's going to move somewhere else, and they're going to be like, "Oh, sir, you have to put your mask on in order to walk into the store."
He just won't have to pay income taxes in Texas, and that will make him feel good.
Yeah,
that's his old. He's like doing it as a statement to like, I'm standing up to the man, and he just doesn't.
No, it's just
taxes.
like the money's not as good anymore. You know what I mean? So you can't pay money on taxes,
right?
Also, he dropped a live, laugh, love in there too.
Wow, I love that.
He literally did. Oh, this is disgusting. This is a disgusting message to read.
So yeah, I guess punishment here. Just we want to make him feel at home wherever he goes. I think that wherever he does move to, we should make it feel like California.
Should raise his taxes.
Raise
only his taxes.
Right. Make him wear the mask.
Yeah, right.
He's got those the gorgeous coastline and the wonderful wines. But he'll still be miserable because it'll just remind him of a place where nobody likes him anymore.
I'll like Joe Biden a little bit more if in Joe Biden's tax plan, he taxes Rob Schneider specifically 100% of his income. So here's another story we can get to. This is sort of like a follow-up on so many things, within the web of Thought Cops lore and the things that we touch on, on a week-to-week basis. And, what's his name? Cuomo. What's the governor's name? Andrew Cuomo.
One of those meatballs.
Not the CNN one, right?
Not the CNN
governor one. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He made a statement. I'll just read the article headline. Cuomo calls Fauci and himself the Pacino and DeNiro of COVID-19 era.
I mean, that is the most boomer statement you could possibly make.
Fucking funny. That is so fucking funny.
This guy, he cares so much about his image as being the guy who's handling COVID. And he's not even like handling anything well by any metric, but he's the guy that's handling it. And everything that he's done regarding any of this, it's like when people donated all those masks and someone made like a wall of masks instead of donating the masks to like people who need masks. Do you remember that?
It's a statement and it's not useful. That's all they care about. So you said it was, they said they compared themselves to De Niro and who?
De Niro and Pacino.
Like, hey, Marty, make a movie out of us.
I don't know if I have anything even to add to this. That's the story, really.
Is there a video where they talk about this? Or am I thinking of something else? I'm thinking of actually, I think we forgot to talk about it, but we mentioned the Grinch earlier. Didn't they say that COVID-19 was the Grinch?
Yes, I forgot about that. Andrew Cuomo said that COVID is like the Grinch. Jack, did you see? Are you
the funniest shit I ever saw when he said we have to act like COVID is the Grinch, and the COVID Grinch he's going to come up on you, and we have to be careful from the COVID Grinch. This is part of why this is such a Grinch-filled year.
It's like, what's with these politicians? You have to like baby everything for us. Remember, like around Halloween with Lori Lightfoot with the Halloween costume she put on with the COVID destroyer. She had the cape and the Lysol can. The mask.
God. Or the census cowboy.
The census cowboy, the COVID Grinch. We have so many great characters these days.
We're like TBS or what?
No, you're thinking of USA Network. Yeah.
Characters welcome. Fuck, man.
So yeah, I mean, I think I got a good punishment unless you got anything else to say about it.
I really don't. That's how exacerbated fuck?
No, you got me confused about
Now,
that.
I'm confused as well.
I think that Martin Scorsese should make a movie about these two guys, and it should be 4 hours long, and it should be on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Nobody will watch it.
Yeah, it'd be a great follow-up to The Irishman, just incredibly long, drawn out, not a whole lot happening, and everybody dies.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I will jump right into this week's Thought Cop's Word of the Week. This week's Word of the Week is journo, which is shorthand for journalist.
Wow, I'm so glad
that must be insider lingo.
Yeah, I only saw this because there was a story I wanted to talk about here, which I will just read the quote here. It's a bunch of these like video game journalists. I think they coined the term journo maybe, but they said, ask any of the few journos playing Cyberpunk right now about their physical and mental state as they try to meet embargo. They'll tell you that they're dead. That's not even mentioning the fact that they're technically the lucky ones. So it's like they're just dying because they have to play a video game. Not even make one.
Sucks. It's hard work out there.
Hey, listen, I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk this week too, and I like to turn off the lights and play Destiny, or play the game, and it sometimes hurts my eyes when I play Cyberpunk. It sometimes hurts my eyes, and as a podcaster, which is essential work here in Los Angeles, it's been very difficult for me to play Cyberpunk, which I have to do for a podcast coming up.
It's the crunch.
How are you enjoying it so far?
A lot, to be honest with you, and it does crash every once in a while. It does crash sometimes, and there are some issues, but I'm playing it on like a gaming PC, and it's working pretty well, and it is awesome.
One of the lucky ones.
I'm really considering getting it.
Yeah, same.
I love it. I'm having a good time. I know that on the last gen consoles, people are having a really rough time with it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'd have to get it for. But just it was made for PS4 and Xbox One and PC, but then it's it came out on those systems, and it's oh well, it's not ready. It's too evolved for those, and it's the PS5 just came out last month, and it's impossible to get one, and also it doesn't even work that well on that.
Listen, man, you're trying to fit a Charizard into a Charmeleon's body.
It's not going to work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it would never work. It would never work. He has to evolve to get there. You have to evolve to get there. Right.
Moving on to something a little more positive for once. This week's Thought Cop's Key to the City, which is something swell, something nice we saw this week. My key to the city this week goes to a neighborhood cat in my neighborhood called Thomas.
All right.
There's this cat in my neighborhood, and he's got a name tag. His name is Thomas. That's how I know. He didn't tell me this. I just read the name tag. It said Thomas on there. There's a phone number and everything.
I'm less worried.
And I see him out every day, and he's actually snuck into my apartment sometimes, and he'll follow me around the neighborhood. And today I saw him on a walk because I go on these walks on my lunch break because I work at home, and he had his foot stuck in a mouse trap.
Oh.
And I was I was trying to get off him and I couldn't get it. And 5 other neighbors all came out of the house. Oh my God, is Thomas okay? I always got a mousetrap on. Everybody's out there. Apparently the whole neighborhood knows this cat by name. And we're all trying to get the mousetrap off of his foot together. And we get it off. Yeah. And then the owner comes out because we're all in the front yard. And then she's oh my God, what happened? We're oh, Thomas is a mousetrap.
You're who the fuck are you?
Yeah, how do you people know my animal? Key to the city goes to Thomas. I know that's not exactly on brand for internet culture or current events, but
this dumb show we do.
Exactly. It's very stupid. Jack, what's your key to the city?
My key to the city this week, which is supposed to just be something good that you saw, right? You say something good that you saw online. Yeah. I guess I'll have to go political again, and it's just that Bernie's trying to maybe do a government shutdown so that we can all get $1,200.
I saw that.
That was the sole thing that made me feel anything positive this week, other than Cyberpunk 2077.
That's good.
I mean, you take what you can get, It's, I hope that all works out. I'm a little pessimistic just based on how the year's been going, but we'll see.
Me too.
My key to the city this week, I've been talking the past couple episodes of my TikTok addiction, and there are some good things on this app. And one of the good things that I've ran into is this channel called Be a Man. and it's like it's also on Instagram. So if you use Instagram, it's like Boston Be a Man. I'm assuming there's some link to Boston, but every video is this like older looking Bostonian man that like is giving you like life advice that like your dad would give you, and it's all like oh, if you get injured, don't go to the hospital, die, be a man, you know, or like oh, if your coffee is too hot, burn your tongue off, shut the fuck up, be a man.
You got a favorite on here you want to play?
I don't know how to play Instagram videos on the podcast, so it doesn't matter, but just if you're at home, check it out. It's worth it. Is there another good one that I can quote?
There appears to be hundreds of these.
There's one that's they're very, very funny. He has one that's like, oh, if it's cold outside, don't wear a jacket. Be a man. Like, die of hypothermia. Be a man.
I can see why you like this.
They're very funny.
You're like, oh, that's funny but true.
It's a good like criticism of like the machoistic. Like, yeah, be a man. Don't go to a hospital. Die. It's good. I don't know. It's funny, and it speaks to cult. No, I'm just. It doesn't have to be more evolved than that. It's simple. Just fun. They're 5-second long videos. They're entertaining.
Before we get to our last segment of the show, which is our listener voicemails, now for the plugs, baby. Jack, plug everything you got.
I do the stream Jack AM every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Jack AM. I also do the podcast Struggle Session, which you can find at sesh.plus. And that's really about that. You can follow me on Twitter at Jack Allison LOL.
A lot to keep up with. I recommend it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So if you want to give us a listener voicemail of your own, give us a call, 312-788-7361, or you can send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. Hit it.
This is the Discord news for this week.
Many Discord users have changed their username to reflect the upcoming festive holiday season.
Festive Law Bear claims the Grinch had 2 more TikToks blow up. Since this is the Discord news and not TikTok news, we may never know.
All right.
In #ThoughtCops, Crib Miss Dilbertext posted pictures of the 2 Kevin and Grant mugs he bought off Teespring, revealing that the Kevin mug had arrived completely broken, a stark reflection of reality.
It's official. Popcat has taken over the server.
In #visual media, Dilbertext admitted to watching 3 seasons of Better Call Saul without knowing it was a prequel show to Breaking Bad. He also was ignorant to the fact that Breaking Bad is a universally beloved show. Despite me being only 5 years older than Dilbertext, this made me feel extremely old.
In #outrage, Cashew complained about having too small of ear holes for regular Bud-type headphones, to which Dilbertext responded with a suggestion to plug an aux cord directly into her brain. The conversation then turned into tech talk until, in true estranged father fashion, Kevin showed up and posted about something completely unrelated to the ongoing discussion.
In #RealPolitics, Festive Law Obeyer created several different political compasses, imagining where some of the Thought Cops Discord redheads, such as Prismus Bosif, IO Present Giver, and Menorahs and Real Tree, might fall on that compass. People argued whether Prismus Bosif should be considered authoritarian right or libertarian right, with Cribmus Dilbertext arguing it should be the former because he's German. In most variations of the compass, IO Present Giver fell squarely in the I just want a grill section.
Hell yeah.
After Cashew, a kind of Christmas nut and therefore part of the Christmas name trend, brought up that she played trumpet in middle school, 5 other users said they also played trumpet. Our science team is still looking into what brings former trumpet players to Thought Cops and how to monetize that.
In #GamerAmericans, Nico posted a meme that was posted only 2 hours prior. While being called out for it, she had what is commonly referred to as a woman moment.
Grant shared his TikTok channel on the Discord and revealed that he had a few videos blow up with tens of thousands of views, most of which came from femcells thirsting over his calves.
It's true.
Game Americans blew up when Snowman Snowflake Present Giver was able to get a copy of the highly anticipated game Cyberpunk 2077.
This probably sounds like schizophrenic the way they list off these names.
He illegally streamed it in a public voice chat, which included customizing his character's penis.
In #GamerAmericans, the impersonator Menorahs and Real Tree questioned the reason for intricate genitalia customization in Cyberpunk 2077. After the discussion got stale, members of the server came up with several concepts for augmented male genitalia, like light-up Skechers, but as a penis, and RGB-colored cum.
In hashtag general, several people debated over the possible gender of user Cashew. The only consensus anyone could agree on is that they are definitely Canadian.
In hashtag outrage, a long and boring discussion about the apparently imminent repeal of the Castle Doctrine in Texas was started by Starlet Alpha. As usual, he got way too riled up about something that is never going to happen and has no effect on his life.
In hashtag Hong Kong Cartoons, the anime topic channel, Son of Emmerich posted Gundams.
Also, we have breaking news just in, a shocking development. We are getting word that Discord user Sleep Santa is short. Like, really short.
Oh my God.
Stay tuned. I feel fairly certain we'll have more on this story as it develops. Every single week.
This week's Discord news has been presented to you by Sleep Santa, Brismas Bosif, and Snowman Snowflake Present Giver.
That was a long one this week.
Yeah, that was the best one yet, but keep it shorter next time, guys.
They said there was a lot of news. There's too much to cover.
I guess so.
Most of that probably unintelligible to those who aren't in the Discord.
Completely.
But if you're not in the Discord, you better get in there because there's a lot happening. You could end up in the news if you're lucky.
Yeah, you can understand all of the references.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with that, Jack. I don't know how much of that you were able to decipher, but we got a community going with the show, and
it's hard hitting stuff.
A lot of drama, a lot of craziness, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of bullshit going on these days. A lot of bullshit going on these days, all over the internet, and here's no exception.
No different here.
It's true. It's a whole ecosystem here. It's very strange.
What's with this talk that's like,
what's the
Americans
deal?
don't want a handout? Excuse me, you old decrepit pedophile. I do want a handout, and I want lots of it. I want lots of free money. Give me money. I want money now. I don't have pride. Give me money. Money.
No, Jack, do you think that's going to work on the Biden freaks if we play that voicemail to them? Give me money now, you... Did she say satanic pedophile, or did she just? I'm not sure if she left that in or not.
I don't know if that will work because he just doesn't respond well to activists, and this is just another activist call.
It is
on an activist podcast.
But yeah, I mean, like she said that he's like, well, Americans don't want handouts. Well,
I'd like to. Pay my rent, please.
I mean, we have Patreons. We do like handouts. It's
yeah.
It's
I want nothing but handouts. That's all I want is handouts. I want handouts of Twitch gems and Patreon. That kind of stuff.
House is a 1977 Japanese horror film directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi, featuring the tagline "How 7 Beauties Were Eaten."
Okay, so I don't know how this started, but this is like some kind of meme in the Discord.
It's a copy pasta.
Where people just keep posting the plot synopsis to the Japanese horror film House, also known as Houseu.
Right.
Gotcha. Have you seen that movie?
Great movie.
Yeah, it's a really fun movie.
I have not seen it.
You should watch it.
Maybe we'll review it for Fire Bros.
I'm down. One time I went and saw it at Music Box Theater, did a midnight screening of it, and me and former guest of the show, Robbie, went to go see it, and it was just like drinking beer, eating popcorn, and watching 7 beauties be killed in a haunted house. Directed by Nobuhiko. I forgot the last name.
That's okay.
I should have had this memorized, given how often it's posted in there.
It's a badass movie. It's really a fucking cool movie with a lot of like very interesting and original like practical effects.
Yeah.
All right, guys, what's up? How's it going? Hope you're all doing well.
Hey.
This week, my 2 minutes of hate. I'm doing my best Iron Netrunner impression.
It's good.
My 2 minutes of hate is fucking up your own haircut. Because I basically stopped going to get my haircut. I do it myself now. And I fucked it up. I really had something like nice going for a couple of weeks. And then I tried to, fix a little mistake I made. And I fucked it up royally. And now it looks like shit.
Time to shave it all off.
But now I have to live with my mistake. And I can't blame it on anybody else. So my 2 minutes of hate is actually myself. And my punishment is I have to look like an idiot. That story last week, you talked about the guy being called Adolf Hitler. Adolf. Right. In Namibia. There's one important detail you guys missed, and it's that Namibia used to be a German colony.
Oh, is that why?
Make of that what you will. Peace out, bitches.
Yeah, did you hear about that story, Jack? The what was he?
Adolf Hitler got elected president of Namibia.
Yes, this was, and this guy, I guess, just, I think it's that his father just named him after like who he thought was like a just great man or something. Like,
that's what I was saying last week. It's like naming a son after a Bible figure. It's
right.
like, oh well, he wants
like,
to be
it was
leader.
Like it was like a character of from you didn't know what it was. He just named him Adolf Hitler, whatever. And on the ballot, I guess his name was just Adolf. No, I guess he ran as Adolf. I don't know what his real last name was. But
Hitler's
on the ballot,
his middle name.
Yeah, Hitler's his middle name. And yeah, on the ballot, finally, it was Adolf Hitler, whatever his last name is, and he won. But good for him. Good for getting past that name.
Yeah, I mean it's just insane.
We got to get past the name, and we got to get past the mustache. We need to move forward past these things
together.
We must.
Yeah,
it's time. Let's take back the mustache. I'm not going to do it myself. I'm not ready to do it. But Oliver Hardy did it. Oliver Hardy pulled it off back in the day.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
the Chaplain.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Yeah. Chaplain.
You gotta be high status. I mean, you gotta be
you gotta be really confident to pull off. If you're gonna bring back the little Chaplain mustache, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, it will not be easy. I will warn you right now. It will not be easy.
All right, guys. What's up? How's it going? Hope you all doing well. It's the Shogun of Sorrow.
Were they just all impersonating each other now?
My key to the city goes to all those people that play the NPCs and commercials, the ones who are just like kind of going about their day while the other one is incessantly trying to sell them something. And the other one is just, their job is just to be the NPC or whatever and, not break character. And really make you believe that they're being sold something. Like, they're supposed to be us. So yeah, my key to the city goes to all the NPCs that are playing us in commercials. See you, Space Cop.
What? I like that sign off. See you, Space Cop. We should.
Yeah, I like.
We should cop that.
We should end every episode with the real folk blues from Cowboy Bebop.
I wouldn't be against it. Or that we need to get in contact with that guy that wrote that rap song, Thought Cops.
Oh, right. I tried to reach him. Yeah.
He just didn't answer.
Yeah. There's this guy, Ohin Savant or something, I think his name is. But if for anyone listening, YouTube, I guess if you YouTube Thought Cops, you'll find us. But you will find.
But if you scroll down a little, there's a song called Thought Cops, and it's very good. And I want to use that as the outro song.
You ain't the motherfucking Thought Cops.
Yeah. I don't know any other of the words, but...
You don't tell me where thought stops. It's like, I heard it and I was like, how have we not listened to this before?
Right.
It's like, it's incredibly on brand and hopefully one day we can get him on the show. But speaking of that, Jack, thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's always fun to come back on.
And I think if we're lucky, maybe some of our listeners might have got Grinch pilled tonight.
I hope so.
God, I fucking hope so. It's my only goal.
If you're out there, you got Grinch pilled, give us a call, 312-788-7361, or send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know how you're stealing Christmas. Thanks for listening. If you want to support the show, give us a few bucks over at patreon.com/thoughtcops. We got all kinds of bonus content on there. As a matter of fact, forgot to mention, we got a new episode of Fire Bros.
It's up there.
That went up this week.
Yeah.
I guess we reviewed, I feel like we should have mentioned this earlier, but I forgot.
Oh, that's fine. People know.
Patreon.com/thoughtcops. Find the answer. The truth is out there. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
See you, Space Cop.